So I just want to preface this by saying if you hear screaming, it's because my husband is watching the Ohio State game and, you know, he's into that. So, yeah. So, apparently somebody's going to be doing a deep dive on me. So I figured, you know what? Rather than giving somebody else the honor of sharing my good stuff, let me share some of it. I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to do my series like I'd already planned. I was going to start more in chronological order. Since my parental alienation seems to be the hot topic, I figured, well, we'll just start with that because I've been wanting to get this story out for like 25 years now. I think it's been 25. So we're just going to start at the beginning. We're going to start, and I'm going to put pictures in and things like that. So I will be having a whole playlist of this series, and you can watch this. I'll try to post as often as I can on these series. So this one is going to be my first husband, baby dad. I met Ike when I was 15. He was friends with like a third or fourth cousin of mine, and we went to a basketball game and ran into my cousin, and Mike had the hots for me, and the rest is history. Meet Mike at 15, turned 16 shortly after that. I was never allowed to do anything with him unless it was going to church on Sunday mornings. And then I joined Bible club, and I would go Wednesday nights, and the teen club for Bible study. So I could go on Saturday night as well, because I was never allowed to leave my house ever. Didn't matter what. It was not bad, just never allowed to leave. Different story, different series. Long story short, I am a survivor of childhood abuse. And my dad was physically abusive with me. And he would also be verbally abusive to me. And I had ran away, I'd also tried to commit suicide. 5 times at that point. So I'm a very mentally unstable girly. He knows this. He knows this. He knows I'm just a girl trying to get by, you know? So I think he's my knight in shining armor and my everything. So I decide at 16, with a undeveloped frontal lobe and a childhood trauma victim of many different ways, that I want to have a kid. Why? Because then my dad will stop hitting me and I can finally be in control of my life. And I've never had been before. So that's what I do. Get pregnant. Here I am, pregnant at 16 years old, and I, obviously want to keep this baby. So I end up having my son. Well, I end up going to school 5 days into my senior year, and then I went into labor during my American history class and had to get put on bed rest. So, I homeschooled myself. So I work at a retail job all summer, break my ass, so I can pay for this wedding that everybody else wanted me to have. My maid of honor was his sister. My second maid of honor was my best friend that hadn't even graduated high school yet. We were both 18, couldn't even drink at our wedding. Well, we get married, move in together, and we start playing house immediately. And I cried the first night that I was home with him because I knew I didn't want to be married to him, but I was going to try it for the fact that I had a child with him. It'll get better, it'll get better, it'll get better. And I was also afraid of being perceived that I didn't try in this marriage. So I had nowhere to go. I had no idea how to leave, what I would do, and I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter. My daughter was actually a twin, and I lost her twin. And when that happened, I was put on bed rest when I was 20 years. We hit major financial hardships. We ended up having to file bankruptcy, just one thing after another, and it definitely did not help the fact that I didn't like him or want to be married to him to begin with, and then all of this happened. He would always make sure I knew that he would never pay child support, ever, so never to even try. And I didn't care about any of that, but my big thing was I just wanted to be divorced. I wanted to get away. I was done. I did not want to be in this marriage anymore. It was one-sided. He wanted another mother, and that is not what I wanted to do for my entire life, was be his mother. I wanted a partner, made it nearly impossible for me to leave. He had parents that lived a mile away. My mother lived in Texas. My father lived in Indiana. I had no family. I couldn't go anywhere. I begged and begged and begged him to go stay at his mom's for a while so we could kind of like have our own time apart. And two things I could think of in my now 21-year-old, 22-year-old, still never healed from trauma brain. And that was, okay, well, I'll cheat on him and then he won't like me anymore. And then he'll want a divorce. Other thing I knew was he would always tell me there was the one thing that he would never do. And that was a woman that had sex with a black man. So what did I do? I cheated on him with a black man. Nope, still didn't work. Still was like, you know what? We can stay together. You can go, do what you want with other people, but we'll just be married. No. I would wake up in the middle of the night and this man was trying to penetrate me in my sleep. I had come so detached from sex that I didn't care if a man ever touched me again in his entire life. My first abuser was my mother's cousin. My second abuser was my dad's dad. And now, my own husband. Constantly. I told him I wasn't going to be married to him and also have, with other people. I wasn't into that type of thing and I wanted a divorce. And I asked him, finally, begged him again if he would stay with his mom, but I would still have sex with him. He could come over and have sex with me, but I wanted him to live with his mom. And it worked. That's how I got him out of the house. But what he does to me next was probably one of the most diabolical things a man could do to the mother of his children. So stay tuned.